Hey, welcome to an Expert Website Review. I'm Scott Fox from ExpertWebsiteReviews.com and ClickMillionaires.com. Today we're looking at SuePottery.com. My new friend Crystal wrote in. She purchased this review from me through ExpertWebsiteReviews.com, and she wrote in and asked me a few questions. She'd like us to look at her site just overall, she says. We're not getting the sales online that we'd like. We need some independent review. I am our IT person, and I hate it. So something's missing. We don't understand SEO and website analytics and what we can do to move forward to keep our website fresh. Mostly, we need more sales with a frowny face. Okay, Crystal, let's see what we can do together to encourage your site visitors to order more pottery. This is a beautiful site. You guys clearly have an artistic background and design, and it's just very attractive. I really like, of course, the designs you have here in the foreground are very pretty, but then you've also get something that you rarely see in a website, which is a sense of depth. You've got these pictures. I'm guessing these are the Black Hills in South Dakota. A beautiful place to visit, by the way, if anybody's watching that hasn't been there. Absolutely gorgeous. But the sense of depth that it literally like draws my eye in and wants me makes me want to engage with the site. So I think it's very pretty. Of course, the problem with pretty, as you well know, in an artistic business is too pretty can mean less sales instead of more sales. So let's see what we can do about making this more functional as part of your expert website review. Now, I like the site a lot. As I said, the products are really good, but let's talk through what we can do to change it. Let's start at the top, Sue Pottery and SuePottery.com. That makes sense to me. Very clear domain name. Good logo branding here. I get the site. I get what it's about. Producing Native American pottery since 1958. That's okay. I mean, 1958 is very impressive. Producing, not a very sexy word. You could probably jazz up your slogan a little bit. But again, that's not going to make or break a sale. Where we start to get more interesting here is let's talk about this navigation bar. Well, first of all, a small point, you can see that at least for me, this search thing should be kind of sitting over here, and it's wrapping. And I noticed that the site is built at a fixed width. Even if I stretch the site, it doesn't really change the how the layout is of the menu bar. So maybe your designer or you guys are using a different browser. I'm doing this right now in Firefox on a PC. This could look very different, of course, in Safari on a Mac or something else. So you want to test different browsers because unfortunately when you come here, this visual, you've got these visuals, like I said, they draw you in. To me, the lines of this vase kind of draw up, and the first thing I look at is contact us and search. And neither of those are very appealing if your real goal is to get somebody to buy some pottery. So I'd move the search over there, or in fact, move search down to the bottom. Do you really have so much search? Is that really such a priority? You've got all this huge list over here on the left of all these categories. It's not like search is really that important in my mind. In fact, I would slim down this whole bar. Privacy certainly doesn't need to be up here. Contact us can be any number of places. About us and stories and artists, I think this is interesting, so I want to talk about this in a second, so I'll table that. But my point is, this bar, too much in the middle. The focus of this page needs to be the pottery, and more specifically, pottery that you want to sell. And that brings up the big problem with this page. The menu bar layout is a fairly minor thing, although I think it's pretty distracting because, as again, my eyes are drawn to About Us, Contact Us, Privacy, and Search right here in the center, none of which matter in terms of selling. The real issue here is layout. You've got Welcome to Sue Pottery, then you've got a story here. It is nice, some contact information, fine. What's missing here is products. I mean, I know you guys think you have products. That's what this whole site's about, obviously. But if I come here and I want to buy something, there's nothing here I can buy. There's no call to action, Crystal. And I think you need to rethink this a little bit as less of a gallery and more as a store. And that means making the pages look more like, let's click over on one of these. I looked around a bit. Oh, now this looks like a store. If I land on a page like this, I'm like, I get it. There's a bunch of vases to choose from. Let's see, I like this one. It's $74. I can look at this. Okay, I get it. Add to cart. That sort of format is what people are used to with a store. When you come to such a pretty page as this, I'm like, this is like a museum. I mean, seriously, this is so pretty. It actually, I think, reduces call to action because it looks so classy. You're like, maybe this stuff isn't for sale. Maybe it's just like a gallery, you know? I don't know. It's prettier than it is functional, unfortunately. And I love art stuff. I do a lot of art stuff myself with other websites, as you probably know. So you're walking this line between pretty and commercial, and I think you need to tip it over more towards commercial. And I've got a really good idea for you on how to do that, so stay tuned another minute or two. I want to keep working through this homepage a little. The next thing is a way you could get more traffic is search engine optimization. Currently, you don't have a keyword set that's speaking really strongly to me. Maybe Sioux pottery is something that people search on, although, you know, I used to have an assistant who thought that word was pronounced Sioux, so there's a lot of people that don't know what that word is even. And you might want to do some keyword research to figure out really what people are looking for who are good customers of yours. And it might not be Sioux pottery, because that's the only thing I see here consistently. You've got it here in the title, and you've got it here, welcome to Sioux pottery. But whatever your phrase is, here's a quick search engine optimization primer. You want to pick that phrase and repeat it several times in prominent places. So if it's Sioux pottery, then I would get rid of welcome to and put Sioux pottery first. It should also be up in the title of the page, and I don't just mean visibly here. I mean in the meta tags, because this page is actually called, up in the browser bar that you can't see, it's called Lakota Native American and Sioux pottery in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Now those are all keywords that are probably relevant for you, but if Sioux pottery is the one, it should be first. And it should be in here and as the name of the background image you're using here, as the alt tag and the title tag for this image. It should be the first word here, Sioux pottery home. It should be the top of this, Sioux pottery shop now, and it should be Sioux pottery welcome, or something like that, okay? Get whatever your keyword is. I'm not saying it is Sioux pottery because I don't know. It's Lakota, it's native pottery, it's, I don't know, whatever it is. Figure it out and put it all those places repeatedly, and that will help you rise in the Google rankings, okay? And that will bring you more free traffic. Now, I want to talk about the overall design here, and this is where we'll get into some strategy. You need to reevaluate this homepage, I think. If you want to sell more stuff, if you want it to be pretty, you're doing a great job. But if you want to sell more stuff, you need to reevaluate this and figure out what your priorities are. And there aren't really room for more than 3 priorities usually. The first priority is clearly to get people's attention and entice them into interacting. I think you guys have a good design sense here, so you're probably on your way towards that. But the other 2 are the one you mentioned and one you didn't mention. One is buy stuff. To do that, you've got to make this look more like products. And like I said, I've got a suggestion for that in a minute. The other is you need to build an email list. So I would use this box up here, free shipping on orders. That's a fine offer. Even more important, and this is a great place to put it though, is get people's email addresses. You want to build up a clientele here. And for you to do that, it needs to be very prominent on every page. Join our email list. You'll get this, you know, a discount or free shipping. Maybe free shipping. Join our email list and you'll get free shipping. I mean, you could mix those 2 together, fine. But that email list is really critical to you, because if somebody goes to the trouble of tracking down a site that's as niche as yours, well, they really are interested in Sioux pottery, and you want to grab them and get their contact info, because on the internet, they're going to float away otherwise, and you'll never see them again. And that email address grabbing is really important. Sorry about the phone call there. Then also, I want to talk about these pages. Like I said, you could grab any one of these, and this is a very traditional product layout. And you could do that, but as you know, and the reason you didn't do that is because it's not as pretty as the home page, right? And here, of course, you do have the email signups, which is great, but it should be on the home page. And it looks like what you're doing is knitting together a store and a more display-oriented site. And that's fine, and people do that all the time, but you need to be careful so that you don't do things like this. You see how different this navigation bar is here than over here? It doesn't look at all like the one that was here, either in terms of size or the choices or the colors or the font or anything. And that's disorienting to people, and it can distract them. What I'd like to see is have you pull out some products, and this is where I found the buried treasure, okay? There's wonderful stuff here under artists and stories, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But here's the buried treasure on your site. You have a PDF in here that looks like what I'd like your site to look like. Whoever's doing your catalog layout is doing a really nice job. I mean, you guys have you've got very good designers, clearly. But I think the website needs to look more like the catalog. Well, maybe not this page, because this does look like the catalog. But I scrolled down here, and look at these other pages. I guess that's just the front page, right? But these pages, and they take a bit to load. There we go. Now that's a product page, okay? Very attractive. Here's a whole collection of your traditionally made pottery, or traditional matte pottery, sorry, in a certain color line. And then down here you've got other ones. Here's another one. If this is the kind of stuff, if you put, say, take this shot, and I'm going to scroll down here a little more, and maybe this shot, or whatever your top 6 lines are, and put those on the page. This one, you know, whatever ones you think are the best. Look at this beautiful layout. You've got them all laid out. If you took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a grid of 6 of those shots on the home page, and on each one you just said something like, click here for more information, or here's my favorite, buy now, that would increase your sales, I think. Because over here, there's nothing to do. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm really interested in this stuff. What do I have to do? You're making me think. Okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to browse around. But if you took out those nice shots and put them 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then at the bottom you could say, and many more, or whatever, or use the menu at the left to find more. You know, people get the idea. They know what websites are these days, but you need to suggest and give them the feel that it's a product-based environment, aka a store. So the problem with this one, just to put a fine point on it, is all these pictures, I can't click on this. Even if I had $1 million in my pocket and I wanted to give you the biggest order of your life, none of this, you hear me clicking? I can't get through here. None of this. There's no place I can get action except over here. And that's not crazy. I mean, you've got a nice website here. I'm just trying to get you to the next level. You want to make it easy for people. And I like the approach you have in your catalog. I mean, it's not perfect either, and if you come back to me in a year and you've got it all dressed up like this, I know I'll find something else to pick on, because that's what you're asking me to do. But look at these layouts. You've spent a lot of time and money. You have the photography already. You could pull these out and put the Deer Tracks line on the home page and just make the whole image link to a page where all of these items are. Or get fancier and image map this bowl and this bowl and this guy here, and each of them go to a specific product page. You could do that also. But the point is, you want this to be clickable, and you need to add some legend here that says, click for more information, or add to cart, or something, whatever lingo you like. And your designers and your whoever else you've got on the team will have lots of arguments about this, I'm sure, what the appropriate call to action is. But you need a call to action, because that's what you're missing here. It looks like a gallery. It's like, oh, very pretty. Okay, gotta go, right? And so everybody gets distracted, so you gotta grab them and pull them in. Get that email address. Click here. Buy this. This is on sale. Give us your email address and get free shipping. Something like that. This is all calls to action of the way this stuff works these days. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the other wonderful, wonderful resource that you have here that you're, again, really underestimating, which is these artists and these stories. Oh, I wanted to point out, this picture, Delbert, it takes forever to load. I'm on a very high-speed connection here. Can you see this? This picture needs to be optimized. It's slowing down your whole site. Somebody stuck that in there, and they didn't shrink it down for web use. Look how it's still loading. I'm talking. This is like a 25-second load for one photo. It's probably like a 10-megabyte photo, okay? So optimize that. It'll help your whole site run faster. But you have these wonderful characters. Look at these people. These are Native American artists. That's your whole gig, right? And that's the other big thing that's missing from your homepage. No people. You have no people on your homepage. And that's disappointing. Look. Right? You've got these wonderful people, and I think a lot of people that buy this stuff, sorry, where there, are probably looking to support the tribes, right? You know, they want to meet these people. They like this stuff. And I think you need to pull some of these people out and put them on the homepage as well, because faces are what people most react to, even stronger than art. Then you have these stories. This is interesting stuff. Dreamcatchers, medicine wheels, white bullfolk calf woman. You know, this is, and all of these have, this has no images, which is surprising to me. If you go inside and click on these, of course they will, but you know, this is fun stuff. And then you had, let's see, what else? About us. Right. Now this is what I think people are really looking for. Purchasers of your work are people who are into this, right? Look, here's a Native American artist doing some Native American art. That's cool. That's why I buy this. That's why I don't buy the vase at Walmart, right? I buy the vase here because I'm supporting this culture and this traditional form of expression. And I think pulling these kind of pictures out would really give you a bump because it makes the site more memorable. Again, I like the homepage. Here it is. I like the homepage, but it's so pretty I glaze right over it. No pun intended about the glazing. If you took out pictures like this, and I'd do like 15 more, like the making of a pot, you know, or this making of stuff is what people who buy custom work really get into. And I'd take a bunch of these and I'd put them on the homepage. You know, maybe not right up front because I think the products for sale should be first, but maybe down here. I mean, you have a bunch of blank space right here. You know, here's a picture of the guy painting a pot, and here's a lady, you know, working on the wheel or kneading some clay or whatever. You know, I don't know all the steps of this stuff, but get the culture in here. You're expressing the culture through the designs on the work, but it's the people that really make the culture even stronger. And I think that's a strategic point that might be helpful to you in terms of enticing people in and getting them to engage with the work. And again, you have more of that here on the symbols page. Well, this is interesting, right? And look at all this. There's a language, apparently, in these works. And I guess I kind of knew that, but I never really thought about it. Here you've got it spelled out. Very nice information. So what I'm saying is you've got a lot of culture to add. So I'd love to see some search engine optimization. I'd love to see a more productized layout with some buy now buttons and some add to carts and some get more details, click here type stuff. Fix up the menu bar here a little. But what you've really got is culture and people. And I think that's what's driving not only your work, but your business. It's these people, right? And I'd like to see these people involved doing the work. And I think it will make the site more memorable. You could set up an email series or a blog that talks about behind the scenes of these different series and really build up an audience. And that's what you would do with those email addresses that you collect, because that's how you get repeat sales. So anybody that's looking for you does not end up on the site by accident. They're already half sold. And if you can bring them in to meet the artists, look at these friendly folks making the work, and you can teach them about the language on the pots, right? I mean, I could see an email series here, just one a week or one a month. Here's today's symbol is fortress, and here's what it looks like. It's about safety in battle, and here's some work that shows this symbol, and meet these different artists behind it, right? I mean, you've got real material here. And I guess I'm going on and on. I love this kind of stuff because I think you have so many assets that you could pull out and use. This is what we talk about all the time at clickmillionaires.com. I work with entrepreneurs like you and your team. If you'd like to come over and join us at clickmillionaires.com, we'll work through this. And man, you've got some really nice material in a really unique niche that I think people are really going to vibe to, if you grab them a little and shake the money out of their wallets, okay? So thanks for requesting this review from Expert Website Reviews, Crystal. I appreciate you being here, and I hope this is helpful to you. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if anybody else is watching this video later on YouTube or at scottfox.com or clickmillionaires.com or anywhere else you might find it on the internet, thanks for watching. Head over to SuePottery.com for some beautiful work. Lots of beautiful work here waiting for you to, there it is, look at that stuff, right? Waiting for you to purchase it. Crystal would love to hear from you, I'm sure. And I'm Scott Fox from ExpertWebsiteReviews.com and ClickMillionaires.com. Thanks for watching.